Hello, this is Brian Allman from Gem State Chronicle with a short video to show you what I'm working on for the upcoming Republican primary. If you haven't been to gemstatechronicle.com, go there now and see what's going on. Let me bring it up here. This is the homepage of the Gem State Chronicle. Over here on the left side, you have my Substack posts. Over here on the next column are news articles that I occasionally post, just breaking news that's maybe not quite big enough to turn into a whole Substack post. Also editorials like this from Representative Mike Kingsley. Press releases like this one from the Idaho Freedom Foundation announcing Dr. Ryan Cole, who will be at Capitol Clarity on Thursday this week. Bills for the session snapshot. I've fallen a little bit behind there. I'm going to try and catch up as we finish up the session here in the next week or two. And then finally videos on the right. But if you go up here to the menu and go to Primary Pulse, if you're on the mobile, you just click this menu over here, and it's right there. So you go to Primary Pulse. This is what I am working on now, and it's taking some time, but once this is done, I think this is going to be a great resource for the Republican primary in May. So on the left side is the House, on the right side is the Senate. Fun fact, until I put these images side by side, I didn't realize that the House was decorated in blue and the Senate in red, but it's obvious when they're side by side. So that's just a fun little aside. And then it's going to have every district and every race. As you can see by which ones are underlined, I've gotten through District 13, and I'm going to put a profile up of every candidate. So if you click on a candidate, we'll just do Spencer Hutchings here because he is at the top. He's running for House of Representatives in District 1, Seat A. So House 1A. It's got his picture, his hometown, his occupation, a statement. I pulled the statement from his website, and if I can't find a website, I'll try and find social media. Candidates are free to send me a statement of their own if they want it posted here. And I am doing my best to be objective in this. So I'm making each profile basically the same, putting the same information. I'll put his opponents, list of endorsements as I get them. And once again, I am doing my best to find them, but I might not know who has endorsed whom. So if you know, please send it to me. If you're a candidate or a campaign manager, please send it. Brian@gemstatechronicle.com. And then down here, I have resources. So you can click here and go to his official website. Click here, go to his Facebook page, Twitter. Ballotpedia shows what races he has run in the past. Last year, he ran in this same race in 1A and came in second. Fairly close race with 5 people in it, so who knows how it's going to play out this year. In any case, going back, you notice that you can also click on the district. And this is where I think this website is going to be really valuable and helpful. Click there, and it will bring up all 3 candidates for this race, side by side. This has actually been pretty fun to put together, learning how to, do the code here in WordPress. And so you see Hutchings, Jane Sauter, and Mark Sauter. They are not actually related. They just happen to have the same name, but it's amusing. And you can see it's got, you see their hometowns, their occupations, their statements. Opponents are obviously going to be each other. With the incumbents are going to be a little different because they have a record to run on. And so I put their term in office. In this case, he's been in office 1 term. Committees that he sits on with links to those committees, so you can go and see their agendas, see what they voted on. Affiliation. Representative Sauter affiliates with the Main Street Caucus, and so I put that there with a link to one of their editorials where he signed it with his name. Freedom Index. This is the Idaho Freedom Foundation's scorecard where they rate bills and then legislators vote on those bills. You can see he's currently, or at least when I wrote it, had a 39.7% rating. Lifetime rating is 51.9. But then you can look at his IACI score. The Idaho Association of Commerce and Industry also scores legislators. And his rating there is 67 this year, and lifetime rating is 78. So, for whatever reason, maybe it's because they still have some more bills to vote on, he's actually dropped on both ratings from his average. And then finally, the Institute for Legislative Analysis puts out a platform rating. How closely does this representative match the Republican platform of Idaho? And so you can see the rating there, and you can click on it and actually go to his page there and see exactly which bills they were tracking and how he voted on them. So that's for each incumbent. And then, of course, there's legislative website that takes you to the page on the legislature, which basically says some of the same things, but it's also got his contact info if you want to ask him some questions. Official website, Facebook, Sunshine, Ballotpedia. This links to the new Sunshine report, by the way, and I'm trying to make sure it goes to the right spot. So there you go, Mark P. Sauter, election year 2024. He's raised quite a bit of money, just short of $20,000 it looks like. 4,000 of it from people and over 13,000 from companies. That's pretty typical for incumbents. You can also see endorsements. Representative Sauter was endorsed by IACI. Their Idaho Prosperity Fund is their PAC. And again, if I'm missing endorsements, please let me know. I don't know everything. I'm doing my best to assemble all this information. As you can see, some people don't have social media, or I haven't been able to find it, and so I'm doing my best to get it there. Some races only have 2 people. Up here in 1B, you have Chuck Lohman and Cornell Racer, and I've put as much information as I can. Going back, some races are unopposed. Representative Heather Scott is not opposed, so if you click on her race, it's just her. I guess I didn't have to make a page for that, but I feel like I need to for completion purposes. So I'm done through District 13. There's a couple of 3-way races here. 11A. You have Nicole Highland and Kent Marmon are both challenging Representative Julie Yamamoto. You can scroll down and see, their bios, their statements, their websites, who endorsed them. Marmon is endorsed by the Idaho Freedom PAC. Yamamoto is endorsed by IACI. I'm not attaching judgment to that. That's for you to do. Now, I may write Substack articles about each race and tell you who I prefer, who I think you should vote for, but I'm not going to put that here on this page. I want you to be able to just read that and make these comparisons, maybe share this with people who are interested in just learning more about each candidate. So again, as you can see, I still have a ways to go. There's a lot of people who registered. Actually, as of the filing deadline, there were 167 people who had registered, maybe 168. I know a couple have dropped out. The person who was challenging our senator in District 14, he switched to run for a different office. I know Chad Christensen said this week he's not going to run, so I'm just going to remove that. There's no point in having an entry here for somebody who's withdrawn. Anyone else who withdraws, I will just remove their entry because it's just extra information that you're not going to need at that point. But really, that's what the goal of this is, to give you as much information as possible to make a good choice, to share this with your friends and family who are asking for information. I want this to be a single place where you can go to find links to everything else. Let's come down to 13B. This is going to be a contested race. 2 different people are challenging Representative Kenny Rhoten, Amy Henry, and Steve Tanner. And so I've got their statements, their occupation, links to their resources, and of course, Representative Rhoten being an incumbent, I've got his scores and his committees and everything else. So that is what I am working on. I invite you to go check it out at Gem State Chronicle. Go click on Primary Pulse and just start exploring. And once again, if you find I have something incorrect or I'm missing information that you have, maybe you know a candidate or maybe you are a candidate and you want me to fix something, please let me know. Brian@gemstatechronicle.com. I would be happy to take care of it. I've already had one candidate reach out with a custom statement, and that's fantastic. So I invite you to do that as well. So thank you, and I will see you later.